All right, so we're going to start with it on the daily. If we zoom in, you see that on the daily we are playing around the 13 EMA. So price can go two ways. Either they'll come above and they'll aim for this area, or they'll actually reject this zone and actually push back down maybe to this gray zone here. That's also a possible play. So from the daily, the bias is either way. There's no solid bias there. Coming down to the H4, we are still trading above the 13 EMA. So here I would love to just mark this low. If you look to your left, this is last week's lows. So it's a point of interest. If this price wants to push up, for example, they might most likely get into the zone first before continuing to push up. So that gives us a bit of a sell bias there, or possibilities to actually catch a sell. So we drop to H1, we'll notice we are already trading below the 13 EMA. That confirms a bearish bias. Let's see if we've got a pattern on M15. So M15, this lower high, broken order block. So for now, that right there is a possible point of interest. What I would also want to see is TDI giving me something here. So already I've got this structure forming here, lower highs on price, lower highs on the TDI as well. So if we can get maybe a baseline bounce or price bouncing off the 50, and price here most likely tapping on the 50 or tapping on this zone, that could actually be an entry point for sales. Then in terms of take profit, I'll just be targeting like yesterday's lows, which is right here. We also have the highs of this particular day here. So this is a zone where price can most likely get to. It's just below the weekly zone as well. So for now, I would say that's my bias. Let me just extend this line as well. Okay, so from 57.38, 57.48, that area there for me, I would look for sales. If I run a fib here, that's my point of interest there. If we zoom in a bit, all right, so my point of interest is slightly above this level here. That's where it starts. We also have the 50 EMA right there. So if we can have maybe a baseline bounce or maybe a double baseline bounce, so price might do this, then start to sell. So we'll just keep an eye. But for now, this is what I'm anticipating. But just in case price decides to just sell, where can we sell from? Because at the same time, we don't want to miss the trade. So if you come back to H1, we've got this higher low here from this move. So if price breaks this level, then possibilities of them coming down become actually higher. So if we do come in close below here, we can take a short-term sell. But if we come back above here and respect it, then this will become the better sell on C1000. That's my view there. If you guys have got a different view, feel free to share either on the Telegram group or right here on the charts, then I can look at it. Okay, C3 has some nice moves yesterday. I remember from our Zoom, we had a sell which played, it just dropped, never looked back. And I think I ended up scalping a trade here. Yeah, right here. I was in this sell from here to this level here where it's marked. So today, what are we looking for? Let's see. So price can most likely continue pushing down. Let's just confirm if we've retested. Okay, I wonder where this zone is coming from, but let me just use this. Okay, 31.25, 31. 25. And that's where it looks like price is respecting this zone here. So after setting this high, impulsive move, then they retraced. So we might most likely push down. The safest entry here maybe will be below this level. Okay, this is H1. If we run a fib, you will notice that price bounced off the 61.8 level, which is also this order block broken and retested here. So if we do come below here, then the sales will be, the setup will become a high probability from my point of view. Then we can look for price getting to around 28.58 and most likely getting to around 27.50, which is around the TP2 area here. But before I sell, I still want to see them break this level because this price might actually come down, then continue with this push up. That's also a possible play there. So knowing our zones, we're already in the kill zone. Let's check M15 for a possible early entry. So from M15, what we have is this high, this order block, which has been broken. Two things can happen here. TDI is not so convincing for me to actually execute here. Yes, price might drop, that's possible, but I'd rather see them drop with an impulsive move, break that H1 zone here, then retrace and give an entry for me to actually sell. At the moment, the sell is not confirmed here. We still need some more confluences. So on TDI, I would love to see maybe something like this. Possibly if the setup, if the price is going to go down. So I'll just say my point of interest here would be 30.20. I want to see price break, then retrace for me to actually enter a continuation sell. Possibilities of price pushing up are also there. So this one will just be stoking. I'll leave it on H1 here so that I can just pay attention to price. Then C5, let's see, can we jump into a sell here? Looks like it's a sell in motion. Okay, just get ready to sell this one. Okay, let's have one position. One position on C500. Okay, C5. One sell position. So I'm going to explain my sell now. So if you notice C5 yesterday, we also had one runner during the zone. And what happened is price just continued to melt. Continued to melt. I was anticipating a pullback, maybe hit here, then pull back. So when we got here, I actually closed my trade. And I was anticipating a pullback, never came. Pullback never came. There was just great acceleration. But I had also highlighted that if price breaks this zone here, I think it's coming from a daily chart, if I'm not mistaken. If price breaks this zone, then look for a retest of the zone and for price to most likely continue pushing down. So price retested once, short-term sell, then they decided to extend this zone, came into the 250 EMA, and they started dropping. So from that high there, or from that lower high, we've got an order block here. Price now below the 13 EMA, they dropped, they pulled back, and this looks like they will most likely break here. So soon as they break, I'm also looking to scale in. And my target for this particular trade will be, I would say 43.50. So if you can get 50 pips anywhere you enter, whether you enter here, whether you enter here, if you can get at least 50 pips from this trade, then it will be a success. So H1 price action looks like we'll push down. Let me just zoom in. You can see there's the levels we are respecting, right? That's what we respected 2 days ago. This was yesterday. This is today. So right now we are below the 13 EMA, which gives us a bias, and I feel like price might come to take out this liquidity here, which is this gray zone. This is actually around 4,300. So that's also a TP where price can most likely get to either today or maybe tomorrow if they decide to push down. So higher time frame in line, giving us the bias 4 hour time frame. Uh, um, Impulsive move, a retracement. Now it looks like we're having the second leg of the impulsive move on the 4 hour. So we expect to catch a candlestick like this or a candlestick like this at any point here. So from the current market price, that's what I'm seeing. Unless maybe price decides to do something else, then we just have to trade accordingly, or otherwise you just have to trade what you see. But based on this current market price, I feel like the probabilities of us actually getting that sell are high. So we've got one position in current market price, M30, nothing to work with here except a confirmation of this order block. So I also want you to notice this order block is within this zone we have from a high time frame. So it was retested. Price looks like it also retested this order block. So we need that impulsive push down. So for now, all we have to do is wait and see. As soon as we break below 4407, we add a position. So this is our current running trade, right? Soon as so this one we have to actively stoke it because we might get a fast movement and you don't want to miss it. So just make sure you keep stoking on C500. Okay, okay, okay. All right, then going to B1000. I'm just going to explain yesterday's setup. For now, it looks like it actually moved a lot. I already sent this one in the group. We also spoke about it heavily yesterday. So this was our safe buy area when we were doing our analysis. So you can see we had a clean break and a retest. Took a buy here, stop loss here, trade TP open. Trade just moved. This one I sent, but I want to explain what happened in this area. So I'm not sure if I shared a buy on B1000 yesterday besides the safe entry buy, but I was in this setup from here because I already looked at this as an inverted head and shoulder pattern for the day. So when I saw this first bounce here, I was like, okay, this pattern looks like it's complete. So let me actually take a buy. So price was here, took a buy. They came above this zone. I took a buy. My stop loss was below the zone. They came, they took me out here. Then they came back above. I took a buy again. But now I was impatient. So when they started pushing down, I was like, you know what? Maybe these guys just want to push down. So I closed my trade. Then they started pushing. So I left it alone because we also had swap fee time approaching. So I left it alone some time. Then when I came back to the charts, I realized I had a nice break and a retest. Then I re-entered and I managed to recover those days. So if you notice, I also had a return trap on 800 EMA. These are just my notes because I was actively stalking this one. The 800 EMA was on the 5 minute. So on the 5 minute, you see how the pattern was looking like. After I got this break, I bought with a stop loss here. But if you notice, they did the trap on the 800 EMA. So that's where these notes are coming from. So they extended this low, tapped here, impulsive move, broke structure, came back all the way down to retest an order block, then started pushing up. So here there was a lot of traps here. That's where the dealer takes people out if you've got a tight stop loss. Because remember with B1, if you're holding a trade from this high just to this low, already that was 45 pips. So that's why you might wonder why I didn't put my stop loss here, because I was now calculating pips. So right here, I just had to sacrifice this, but then price actually took me out. Same applies if you had taken a buy right at the top of this and put your stop loss here. You can see the stop loss is 50 pips. If you put such a stop loss, then you are prepared to hold your trade until it gets to at least 100 pips or more. So this one pushed like 200 pips from this area. So the risk to reward was worth it, but the risk was a little bit too much. So even with a small lot size, the risk, it will be a bit much. But anyways, to make money, you need to risk. You just need to calculate where your risk is going and if it's worth it. So looking at it today, let me remove this. Looking at it today, let's see where this price is going. Okay, I think yeah, notice there's a little bit of motion on C500, but I'm just going to wait for them to break the area there before I add. All right, so B1000 on the daily, like I said, most likely price is coming towards this liquidity at the top here. So we can still anticipate buys. So let's see if there's any solid area where we can buy from. So from the 4 hour, I'm seeing this zone here, of which price can tap into this area. But let me just mark the top as a point of interest. Then when I drop to H1, you notice that right there, I think we've got the previous day's high. So that makes this area a flip zone area. So this is a high probability area where we can buy from. So if our price retraces to this order block, which you see on H1, that's an area where we can actually start to look for the H1 to actually reverse first. Then we look for a pattern to confirm, then we execute. So for now, I would say this is my only point of interest on B1. If they decide to move from where they are, I don't really have a pattern at the moment. I'll have to see something a bit deep, which goes in line with my trading system. So if they start to push up here, I do not have anything for me to use to enter. But if you guys have got a system showing you buys there, then you can take the buy. Okay, then going to B500. I remember we checked it yesterday. We actually had buys, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, we had buys. We had buys around here. So around here, you can see this was the safe buy area. Price didn't get there. They just respected the zone and actually continued with the sales. So this B5 trade took us out. I think we also updated that loss in the group. That was actually the first loss of the day because the buys, if I'm not mistaken, we executed them during the live analysis as well. So that took us out. They continued pushing down until they got to this area. Then I realized we had the previous day's low right there. So this was the lower low. We had two order blocks here. I decided to use this one and I just decided to watch how they would move. Since I had been successful with the other setup, I decided not to take this trade, but they formed like a W pattern there. Broke the order block again. Short-term trade, really, it wasn't that much of a good setup because they didn't even move to this level here. So it wasn't really a good trade. So looking at it today now, I see we've got a shark fin here before we even go anyway. So this looks like a buy at current market price for me. That's a buy at current market price. Order block is here for those who want safe buys. Safe buys will be above this area. But let me just do multi-time frame analysis. Okay, the reason we actually buying, you can see the daily has hit the 13 EMA, so there's bound to be a reaction. Whether big or small, the reaction will be there. So that's the reaction we're seeing on M15 right now. 4 hour is on the bearish side. H1 is also on the bearish side, but they can most likely retrace back into the 13 EMA, back into this area. We have the 200 EMA here, which could make this dynamic support zone. The only thing we don't know is whether price wants to actually push up, because this is a downtrend. So I'm not really interested in this until price maybe comes above the 13 EMA, then I might consider a buy. But right now, I won't take this just because this trend for me it's bearish. So I won't execute anything for now, but I will update if my view changes with the during the course of the day. I will update in the group. So this will leave it like this for now. Let's check C5. So C5, what's the worst case scenario here? The worst case scenario would be price actually coming back all the way to this area here. That's the worst that could happen on this trade. They could decide to push price up, then sell it. So you just keep an eye. If you see your price coming above this zone, that's your stop loss. Either your stop loss is here or your stop loss is here. And it's only one position, so that way we can manage the loss if price decides to push up. But as soon as we break here, we scale in, we might get something like this, or we might get something like this. This is yesterday's low, so price might respect that, or they might respect this. Those are some additional notes there on C5. Then going to V2501S. I don't think I had anything on it yesterday. I don't quite remember, but all I know is I didn't trade it. Okay, let's see. Yeah, I don't think I traded it. The only thing I think I only marked last week's lows. Then I was like, if they do come back, then I might consider selling. So for now, I'll say that's still my view. If you still come back out there, then I'll definitely consider sales. But as of now, right now, I do not have any setup. Step index, you can see it's choppy. We made a good idea yesterday by not trading it at all. The view applies even today. It hasn't changed. You can see we're still trading within that range. So step index, I would prefer staying away from it until we get something clear. Right now, it's very choppy. Those who don't know a definition of a choppy market, this is it. There's no direction here. This one, we were ranging. This is a ranging market because we're coming from this low to this high to this low to this high. Then from here, we started being choppy, no direction at all. So until we exit this area, no trades on step index. Then J10, I remember they were moving nicely. What happened? We were anticipating a short-term sell yesterday, right in the gray zone here. If you were following yesterday's session, then I'm not sure if you guys caught this trade, but this was a nice setup here. Nice rejection here, an order block here. Price came below the 13 EMA. Safe sales were anyway below here. Break, a retest, another break, a retest. So entry number one, entry number two. What could happen today? Could they still come back up here, then continue down? That's a possible play considering how the TDI is looking. So if you notice here, we've got high highs until we get to this high. Then here we've got equal highs. Then price starts to push up. So that's a divergence setup from this high to this high in these equal highs. Baseline bounce here. M pattern on the 800 EMA. So this was a clean pattern for anyone who was talking J10. I don't know if anyone caught it, but that was a good trade. So today I'm simply looking for possible continuation to the downside. So my point of interest would be this area, where I'll also run a fib. Okay, this is my point of interest, that broken zone there. So if we run a fib, you notice that That point of interest is on 61.8% fib retracement. So that could be a possible play on J10. But again, remember, we're pushing up nicely here. I wouldn't be much surprised also if this price decides to do this. So just keep an eye on this level as well, because you want to be open to trade both ways. If this price decides to hit here and give us a sell, that's perfect. If this decide to come back above and break this level as well, we expect a retest and a continuation of the buy. They might also create equal highs right here and still sell. So we are also open to that as well. So for today, I think that's it. J10, that's the few step. We've got nothing. V250 waiting for this retracement. B5, they might retrace up, giving a short-term sell, but I'm not participating on it yet until maybe they reach this level here on the H1. That's when I might start looking for buys. But for now, I won't really be active on it. B1, waiting for a retracement into yesterday's highs. We are anticipating a flip zone buy. C5, we're active with one position, looking forward to scaling. C3, we are stoking, waiting for a confirmed bias here once we break below this line for sales. Then C1 looks like they want to drop me. What do you guys think of C1? Let's see. Because daily, this rejection 4 hour. Thing is, 4 hours still on the line here. They could go either way. H1. Okay, if they drop from here, I think I might miss this one. Now, there's nothing wrong with having one position either. So I'm going to have one sell position on C1000 as well. Just one position. This is unconfirmed because this price might still push up. That's a possibility there, but the patterns almost look alike though. Do you agree these patterns look alike? Let me put them side by side. Almost look alike with C5. I don't know. What do you guys think? You see, we are right on the area where we are expecting price to break. And if we break there on both, that could be a sign to scale in on both as well. We are trading on the sell side of the H1, which gives us a selling bias. So the probabilities of both C1 and C5 playing out, they are high on both my on both these assets. The only difference is on this side, I've got a dynamic support here, this 200 EMA. But again, if I break below, then chances of this price melting are actually high. We might not even get into this point of interest. But at the same time, I'm open to seeing price come here before the sell. I think same applies to C5 because price can still come take out this high and bounce right on these moving averages or right on the same zone as well before they actually sell. So these two, just trade them with caution or otherwise trade what you see. If you guys have different views, you can still send your views or share your views in the Telegram group there and we can discuss. But for now, I think I'm happy with these two. I'll just keep stalking on the other assets which we looked at. Then maybe later on in the day, we might have a short analysis maybe on oil because we might get a buy there, a good buy there. So I think that's it from me today, guys. Enjoy the rest of your day. I hope your week was productive as well. You guys have a safe weekend. This weekend, I won't have any sessions. I'll only be back on Monday, but I will share signals though if I'm on the charts. I will be dropping the signals and the setups in the group. So thank you so much, guys, for joining. I hope this session was productive. I hope you took something from it. Enjoy the rest of your day going further. Good trading.